This week, we're going to make a stepping stone to go in the yard of the dollhouse. Join me and see how easy this project is. We're making a stepping stone, so I'm using one of these little wooden discs that you get at the craft store. It's about an inch wide. Just make it so it's, comfortable for your dolls to step on. So obviously you can do this in other scales. Just have a doll so you know how big to make it. And to prepare, I've just painted it with some white craft paint. I'm using white because I have white embossing powder. Whatever color embossing powder you're going to use, paint this to match. You'll want it the same color. Now, to prep, I have this product. This is called Terrifically Tacky Tape. And I'll try to remember to put the link to the company that makes it website on the blog post. This stuff is made for doing embossing with. And it's really cool. It's a double-sided tape. You might be able to get away with regular double-sided tape. I'm not sure. So I need the one that's painted. So we're going to take our piece that we've painted and we are going to cut a piece. I like the fact that this stuff is got this bright red plastic over it. The bright red is a plastic coating, by the way, that we will be cutting off. I like that because I can tell then, oops, okay, I don't need it on there right now, if I've got this where I want it. And what I'm doing, trying to play, where's the camera here so I don't miss. I want to have enough that I can overlap a bit after I start peeling it. I'll cut this. Actually, I'm getting there with my smaller scissors. I can't find my little straight small scissors, so I'm using the curved ones, but that's fine. I just want to cut it so that it's an even strip. Longer than the diameter or longer than the circumference of your little disc or whatever you're using. If you're going to do this on the sides, I'm going to cover the sides, so that's why I'm doing this way. If I wasn't going to cover the sides with the powder, I wouldn't need this done with the powder. Now I am going to peel that off. I'm only going to unpeel that far right now because now I don't want that all sticky. Now I'm going to cut a piece big enough, and we're going to waste some of this tape. That's okay. And we're going to cover the top surface with our terrifically tacky tape, and we're going to really rub this down. We want it to stick really well, and this stuff is really, really sticky. Okay, so it's going to hold your stuff together to start, and then your embossing powder, once you melt it with a heat gun, it will kind of glue everything together. Now what I'm doing now is I'm just trimming off the excess. I'm going to come back to that area after I'm done. And this comes in different widths, this tape, so if you want to get narrower, that's fine. Just piece it like I did on the side. I would recommend if you piece it that you overlap it slightly, because where it doesn't meet, you are going to see. Okay. And it is really sticky, as you can tell. All right, so the first step, now that we've got this all down, we are going to peel this cover. Getting it started is always kind of difficult. Once you get started, it peels off pretty easily. There we go. Great. And I'm going to leave the sides covered so that I can take a hold of this there and move it and pick it up if I have to. So let's put a design on. There's a lot of options for what to use to make your mosaic out of. What I like to use are the little paint the paint sample strips, you know, like you get at the hardware store. Anywhere they sell paint for real houses, they have these strips of colors, and they're there for free. And they're a great thing to use for this project. So the first thing we are going to do, I'm going to make this one with stars. I've got this gold color. I'm going to make some gold stars, and then I'm going to make just some blue dots. You could use dots, you could use whatever. Yeah, you can make little squares. It doesn't matter. Oops, this is why you should always line it up that way. Alright, there's our gold. Now, I'm going to put this one on right here. And you want to kind of press down. Not so hard that you scratch it all up, but enough that it stays. Then I have a smaller gold punch that I'll make 2 more smaller stars with. And these we'll place, well, probably one right about here. And the design is all up to you. I could have cut these apart and made the stars more a mosaic too. Do whatever you want. It's your project. You get to be the boss of your project. You get to decide how you want it to look. Now I'm going to use a variety of blue. This is just a 1/16 inch round punch. And I'm going to punch a bunch of little dots. And I want to move this out of the way. I don't want to spill these down on it yet. And it's going to take quite a few. And be careful when you're punching, because you don't want to punch where the letters are, because those little gray marks will show up. You don't want those. And I like a variety of colors, so I'm punching a variety of all the colors. You could do just one, one section on the card and just use all the same color. Or you could do like I'm doing and use multiple colors. Or you could do a whole rainbow of colors. You don't have to use all blue. You could use whatever combination of colors you want. I like to use this product, these sample sheets for this, because they really have almost a tile-like feel to them. But you could just use cardstock if you wanted to. And it's going to take quite a few dots. Okay, now let's, and I like this hole punch because it's got the little deal here that holds on to our little circles. All right, now we need to apply these. And these are really tiny. They're 1/16 of an inch in diameter. They're going to be too hard to pick up by hand. This is my favorite tool for picking up little tiny things like this. It's a piece of raw, uncooked, just uncooked spaghetti from the kitchen. It works great. I used this a while ago, so I'm going to break the end off, get a fresh end, and then you get it damp. Either by sticking it on your tongue or in some water or on a sponge. But see, it just picks up little stuff. It's really a nice way to pick up, like beads or little pieces like this of these paint strips. Whatever you've got that's really tiny and hard to get a hold of, this is a really good way to do it. And I'm just going to continue. I decided to do the little circles because my daughter and one of her friends actually made a whole bunch of real stepping stones for her friend's yard a while back, and they had the coolest little round tiles that were probably about an inch, 3/4 of an inch in diameter, and they looked really neat on their little stepping stones. So I thought, no, that would be cool in the dollhouse size too. Just use a hole punch. But I've done this in the past where I've used just cut really narrow strips and done them that way too. My dots flew way over there. But I'm just trying to pick these up randomly. I don't want to have a pattern to these dots. I just want them randomly placed. And I try not to pick up too many of the same color in order, you know, at a time, but it's okay if they do. And these paint strips too, I love the paint cards because they come in a rainbow of colors. I mean, there is just about every color you can imagine available in paint, so there's sample strips for them. These little circles are so small, it's hard to tell if I've even got one. This is a super simple craft, and it's really inexpensive because these little, once you buy the tape, it's a little spendy, but the a little bit goes a long ways. And these little discs are really inexpensive. Okay, I think that is probably one more right here. I think I want one more right there. And maybe one more right there. There. Okay, now I'm going to clean up and get ready to put the embossing powder, white embossing powder. So that's what I'm using. And the first thing we're going to do, because I want my sides to be covered in embossing powder, that's why I put the strip there. Let's see, I have a few pieces of tape that didn't get trimmed quite close enough, it looks like. Okay, now I'm actually just going to, it's okay if we spill some on the paper. I'm doing this over a sheet of paper, so it's really easy to put this embossing powder back into the container. Embossing, as long as you put it back in, this stuff lasts forever. I mean, there's so much in there for the little bit that we're using. Okay, and we've got a good coverage. So now I'm actually going to use just a Q-tip, because wherever there's any left, it's going to show. But it's okay if a little bit gets left, because you know when you do these, you always get a little bit of grout on the tiles. At least I always do. Now we'll pour the extra embossing powder back in to its container and put its lid back on and put this out of the way. Now, the next step, we are using an embossing heat tool. This blows really, really hot air. So don't stick your fingers under it. Also, don't hold it too long in one place or this gold paper will discolor. See if I can get down closer before I start. I still have this focused. Alright, now we're going to watch the magic of embossing powder. This stuff is going to kind of bubble and become almost a liquid. And needless to say, you don't want any small pieces laying on your work surface or they will blow away. You can see it starting, see how it's starting to turn really white and kind of melty? I'm going around the edges because I want it around the edges. And now it needs to cool. And there. Now it just needs to cool, and it'll be ready to place in the yard of your dollhouse. And like I said, you can make all kinds of things with this technique. You could do tabletops, you could make a tray, a serving tray, you can make stepping stones, you could do a fireplace, you could do any number of things. Look online at all the things that are done in mosaic in real life and translate it to your dollhouse. Well, I hope you enjoyed this project. Be sure and check the blog post for more information, including, I hope I don't forget, if I forget, remind me to put it in, a link to the company that makes the terrifically tacky tape so that you can see what it is and where to get it. If you haven't found us on Facebook, please join us over there and share your pictures of your project. I love to see what you guys are making. So until next time, have fun with those minis. Talk to you later. Bye.